get the questions and stuff.
Okay. Oh, welcome to our podcast. Welcome to the podcast, you guys.
Little wind up this week.
Meow.
Meow, wow, like you're feeding a bobby. Who wants a room for the apple puree in the mouth? Bam. Who wants room for the apple puree in the mouth? That's what I said.
That's weird.
Well,
Well,
you
guys.
gotta make room to have it. So check this out.
Check it.
Thanks to a suggestion from Lex, who I believe to be shortest person in recorded history, and she works for and with the podcast, and she was suggesting that we stop talking about so much bullshit. She said you guys talk about a lot of bullshit on your crap cast, on your pod crap, she calls it. And so officially right now, episode 402, we're going to switch directions.
Are we?
Yes,
Okay.
slightly.
Okay.
It's still going to be what you know and love.
Yes.
We're never going to stop talking about us and our lives. And if you don't like that, you could eat my entire dick if you want.
Oh, don't do that.
I'm just saying,
Yes.
it's an option.
Okay.
I don't think anyone listening right here doesn't like it.
Okay.
But in an attempt to branch out and maybe attract new listeners to the show, what we'll be doing is dedicating half the show to maybe helping somebody else
Okay.
by answering a relationship-related question. It could be lover relationship,
Dating.
lovers, dating, friendships. It could be the relationship between the Nina and the Pinta.
And the L and the Nino.
Zoe, sometimes when I'm on an hilarious joke, momentum rant, you can't make it come to a crashing halt with your fart noises and general disdain for me. Zoe, your hair looks beautiful today, by the way.
Thank you. It's slept on.
So we should call this podcast something like the one where everything changes. When I tried this podcast with butter, everything changed.
And the grease and the cone.
It has the juice.
Yes.
Anyway, I hope that kid's doing well. And I hope he still likes corn. I hope that, anyway. Zoe, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I couldn't help but notice when I woke up next to you this morning, you were there. And there's something
Every
to be
day.
said for that.
Every day. I'm there every day.
Yeah. And sometimes your breath doesn't smell so bad, and sometimes it does smell bad. And, guess which one today was?
You know what? I'm sick and tired of you telling me that my breath smells and first thing in the morning because I don't care who you are. Everyone's does first thing in the morning.
I'm just that.
And that's that. What I can't stand is how hot it has been.
And it is so hot. And Zoya, how hot is it?
It's the hottest. Hottest.
That's our new segment called How Hot Is It? And you can submit your questions. This woman that I work with, I saw her eat a cigarette outside on her lunch break. How hot was it?
So hot.
Zoe,
Mike,
you're a beautiful guy.
you're a beautiful guy.
Somebody said that was asking if we looked similar.
Oh, yeah, that was Heather.
Why?
So, well, it was at your show on Friday night, which...
Yes. The Surrounded Show. Thank you so
Show.
much for coming if you came.
And it was a lot of fun. And you or someone said that a couple looked like they could be related. And I looked at Heather and I was like, do Mike and I look like we're related? And she goes, yeah. And I go, what?
She said it like a no-brainer.
Yeah. And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, kinda. And I'm like, ew, no we don't. And And then there was like another moment. I couldn't tell you what it was. There was like a cute moment between like a couple in the audience. And I was like, yuck. And Heather was like, no. And the guy like 2 seats over was like laughing at me. And he was like, she's right. And I was like, I know.
Yeah. Zoya hates love despite being in it. And now having a podcast dedicated halfly to it.
No, that's not true. I love love. I just...
Prove it. Show your receipts. When was the last time you loved love?
I told you last night.
Zoya's on the hot seat.
I love love. I'm all about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you start loving love? What a fucking...
Not for a long time.
What a weird motivational VHS tape question.
Not
when
for
did
a
you
long
start
time,
to love
but
love?
Once I saw the blue-green in your eyes.
Dude, stop it.
Reminded me.
Dude, that's something that somebody
ocean.
says to like justify how much money you're paying
Is
them.
this... Is this...
Nope. What are you doing? Are you trying...
Is this a...
Are you thinking we're in a moment right now? No.
No. Oh.
Is this a moment face is also very similar to the, I don't know if I'm going to throw up, but I can right now face.
Yeah. It's about one and the same.
I was just going to say it sounds like a very, like, if you paid like a life coach $75 and he had to justify that $75, he would say things like, now when did you start to actually you need to love
When did you start to love yourself?
You should open yourself up to love.
Do you love the idea of loving?
Yeah. And then I, as the person with less than $75, would be like, what?
Today on Loving Love,
Yeah,
we figure out, do you love love?
let's take your call.
For
Caller,
$75
you there?
an hour.
Yeah, it costs $75 to call the show. And then we end every call with, and just make sure you're opening yourself up to loving love.
Open up your love chakra.
Oh no.
And for $75, you can figure out if you love love.
You're the type of person where if you started doing crystal shit, people would believe you. I think you have a you have the personality where you would lead people into crystal usage.
I want you to hug your amethyst, because it's also going to open up your love chakra.
Mm-hmm. And then that does what?
Don't forget your quartz.
Okay. If it's in my watch, does that count? I have it with me. Okay.
Yeah, just make sure that on the full moon you charge them.
Well, and how do you do that?
You put them on a windowsill.
While your eyes closed.
Because I'm imagining it being a full moon.
Is that like imagining? Dude, the first step to loving love is imagining yourself loving love.
But without loving yourself first.
Shut the door and love yourself first.
Well, when you love yourself first, then it opens your chakras up to loving others.
Okay, we filled up our quota of saying chakra ever on this podcast.
Oh, okay.
I need to write something down, so you need to carry all the weight for a second.
You guys, I'm sick and tired of this heat wave. I'm not gonna lie. We went shopping yesterday. I need to find a bridesmaid dress for this wedding at the end of the month. Nothing like last minute.
Is it last minute if you still have a couple weeks?
Sure. But today's already the 5th. Anyway, and Mike never really has any kind of opinion on what I wear, what I buy, or anything like that, right?
Well, you have good taste.
Thank you. And I had to return some things that I had bought for vacation that I didn't end up wearing. And I was like, I'm never going to wear these. Let's be serious. So I returned them, and we're walking through the department store, and Mike goes, I hate everything.
What? What's
And
the
I
big
literally,
deal?
I like, it cracked me up because I'm like, this dude never ever says anything. He never says boo about anything. And then this was his, I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was great. I love
Yeah.
that you like even,
Because it's a you comment.
yeah.
That's a comment for your mouth.
Yeah. I
It's like
liked
you
it.
put your words into my mouth.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
you say this
Yes.
for a change.
Yes. So it was pretty good. But yeah, we did some shopping, didn't find anything. I found like a couple of dresses that I had tried on and they were fine, but nothing that I was like, yeah, let's do this. And then
You showed me. I was the husband. Dude, I'm not going to say I saw the future yesterday.
okay.
But I did see old husbands sitting in the two comfortable chairs in the women's section of whatever store we
waiting
were at.
room, yeah.
And then I did that
Yeah.
as a younger, more vibrant man who could still do a back round off handsprung.
Handsprung?
Yes.
You can do a back round off
I could do a
handsprung.
double handsprung,
No, you can't.
back round off. And I'm not one of these old fucks, but I was in the same position as them.
Yeah.
And you came out with 3 dresses, and I didn't like any of them.
No. Well, I
And
came
you
out
kept
with
on
2
saying it
because
'cause
one
it's
one
not
of them I was like, oh no.
Yes. And I
But
promised you in our vows that I would always be honest
thank
whenever
God.
you came out in a dress.
I should pull out our vows. I think they're right over there. But anyway, and I've been having trouble, like, so for this wedding, I've been having trouble writing a speech. I'm like having a hard time.
I just started my things as well, but it is difficult because and tell me if you're experiencing any of this. You don't want to be corny.
Right.
And then you don't want to make it too inside because it's a thing for everyone. It's
Right.
not like you're just saying it to them. Mm-hmm. And then, but you also want to make it specific to them, and you want to speak from the heart, and you don't want to babble.
Yeah.
I'm officiating their wedding.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I am going to wear a championship belt when I do it because I am officially the official of the. I got a championship belt that says I'm a priest. What do you think about that?
That's weird.
I'm the Universal Life Church champion.
Yeah. That seems a bit weird.
But they made it several. Yeah. I suppose you don't want to wear a big gold belt that says priest.
Yeah.
But they made it very apparent to me that they want it to be terse.
Yeah.
We're dealing with 2 people that don't like it when everything is about them.
Right.
And so it also has to not embarrass them and ruin their day.
Right.
So don't fuck up.
Don't fuck up. But then, like the best man apparently is like this huge, like sentimental sap.
So he'll do it.
And I'm like, damn. Because there's
You're
so many
afraid
things.
you're going to get outdone.
Yeah. Well, no, not really. But
Stop turning their wedding into a competition.
no, I don't want it to be a competition. I'm just also nervous. Like doing this is fine. Like I can talk to you because it's just me and you. Everyone listens to this after the fact. But I don't do good in big settings. I'm not good like that.
No, one time you hosted the Friends and Friends show and you wore all the skin off your knuckle by dragging your finger across your jeans several times.
It was bad. It was really bad. And
That's what I used to look like when I used to dry hump girls in high school.
Oh, God. I hate that. That's disgusting, first of all.
Your finger was like my little high school peen.
Okay.
Well, I can't say little high school peen on the podcast all of a sudden. I can't talk about my experience. Anyway, you're going to be great. And don't think about my little high school peen when you're up there doing your maid of honor wedding speech. And you're going to do great. Because first of all, everybody loves you. And you're real as fuck. And so you're going to get up there and you're going to speak from the heart. And everybody's going to love it.
Well, the good thing, too, is that, like, it's a lot of our friends, our mutual friends that are going to be there. And it'll be fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm just like... like this week it reminded me of the time that her and I went to Salvation Mountain, like at how hot it is outside.
Yeah.
And this is just like a fun little story. and Jackie had gum in her mouth and she went to go spit it out of the window, but it was so hot. And like it was like 120 degrees, I'm not even joking, by Salvation Mountain. And we left and the gum hit the window and it just slid down. And Jackie was trying to like clean it up and couldn't get the gum off the window. And I was like, just leave it, Jack. Just leave it.
Yes.
It was so funny.
Very, very gross.
Yeah.
Very gross for gum to deteriorate into a different form.
Yeah.
And
it was everywhere.
Dude, when you ever get gum in your hair?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's the worst.
I got gum thrown in my hair.
Oh, on purpose? Because you were a new girl in school, girl, and you were wearing a velour tracksuit with your sisters.
It wasn't velour. It was just a Russell Athletic with my Reeboks.
Okay.
With my classics.
Did you or did you not fart into it on the ride to the bus stop?
No, not
Walk
on
to
the
the
ride.
bus stop.
Probably after.
On the run through the woods to the bus stop.
Maybe.
You can't be farting in your Russell Athletics.
Ruffle.
I know. I tried not to fuck it up, but I couldn't save it.
Ruffle Athletics.
Zoe, are you excited about the new direction of the show or what?
I am. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to give us more of a purpose. And yeah.
Do you think that you have what it takes to successfully inform someone about being in a relationship?
Absolutely not.
And what gives you the right? I guess it's important before we even start doing this on a consistent basis to really think about the fact that you should take everything we say with a grain of salt.
Yes.
And just because we have a relationship that works for us, that just means we've done a lifetime of work to figure out what works for us.
Yeah.
And that we can't really say for sure what would work for anybody else in the world. Which, in saying that, does it immediately undermine everything we do from here on out? Maybe. Maybe I just capsized the podcast by saying what works for us, and what works for you is going to be different.
Right.
But you know what? We're here to provide you with the truth.
Yeah.
Only.
Our truth.
Our truth.
Yeah.
Amen. Ever
Not to
after.
be mistaken with the wrestler.
So I feed the chickens on that one.
Okay.
Because great job.
Thanks.
I love you. Is there anything else that you'd want to... Remember, you were on the toilet, and I was like, is there anything else that you want to talk about specifically on the podcast?
Well, we were talking about people that have, like, no self-awareness yesterday.
Yes.
And it was pretty interesting, like, the conversation. And there's so many different avenues of what we were talking about, and like so many different things that were happening. People that just feel like entitled to whatever it is that you have. People that feel entitled to your time. People that feel entitled, and that it's in every kind of, there's so many different situations. And we were talking to our friend Granison yesterday.
Yes.
And the story came up. I was at this bar with a friend of mine, and somebody had sent over drinks.
Yeah.
And they sent over 2 Sex on the Beaches. And
Just Sex on the Beaches.
And I think I already talked about this, but it was really what was really funny about yesterday and telling Granison the story was, I was like, we looked at them and we just left them there. We didn't sip them. We didn't do anything. And he was like, oh my God. He's like, that's so cold.
Yeah.
And it's true, but it's also fucking hilarious.
To be 15 feet away from whoever sent you a drink, and then both of you see the drink.
Yeah.
And
and legit, we left it there the entire time we were there.
There's like that ring of water around the base of the glass.
Yeah. And we continued to order the drinks that we were drinking originally.
You know why? Because no one who is under the age of 55 goes out and orders the Sex on the Beach for themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's not a Naked Gun movie or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You're not Dirty Harold.
It was just really funny. And he was like, that is cold, cold.
Yeah. I, one time in my 20s, sent a drink. I think it was the only time I ever sent a drink to a woman. And then I didn't know what to do after that. So I just sent it to her. And he was like, you want me to tell her who it's from? And I said, no. And then she got it. And then she was looking around. And I was like looking to, I guess, see if she was like, wait a minute, did you do this? You're so attractive. Yeah. Peering out from behind my friend's shoulders. And she got the drink and she had it with her friends. And then I was like, fuck, let's go to Black Bear, I guess. And then we went to Black Bear and I pissed in the garbage and
disgusting.
I never did find her again. But we always had that connection, didn't we?
I hate it.
So maybe take everything we say with a grain of salt as far as advice.
Mm-hmm. Maybe take my advice, not so much Mike's advice.
That's also good advice. Mm-hmm. But even that.
Take with a grain of salt. He's right. He's not wrong.
Yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to say a bunch of things that we think.
Before we get any farther into this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sprinkling salt on the thing.
Yes. As you know, Patreon is a virtual tipping and rewards website.
Yes.
And with some of our tiers, you can promote stuff.
Yes.
Like the podcast. You might be wondering how we got here.
And that is, if I'm not mistaken, kind of like a soundscape Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
That's really great. Because yes, Mike, you're so right.
Thank you, dude. I love when you say that and you don't say it often.
Yeah, that's right. Are you ready for a heart-stopping adventure, award-winning sound design, and some kick-ass music?
Are you reading your speech from the wedding?
I am. Then check out You Might Be Wondering How You Got Here, a sound design Dungeons and Dragons podcast set in modern day. Join us each week as we try not to get sued for using characters such as Michael Mouse, Jeffrey Bezos, Unidirectional, featuring Harry Smiles, Melon Rusk. Rate the show on iTunes, 5 stars on iTunes, or share the show using hashtag YMBW and to get a character named after you in the show. Their current campaign is SWAT, the Society of Weird and Terrifying. It is on its 2nd season, so if you want to keep up with the action, just listen to Season 2, Episode 0, Context, for all the information you will need to hop right in. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Patreon, or wherever you get your podcasts. And instead of using hashtag #FuckYouTyler, let's have a hashtag #ThankYouRoby for our newest addition to the team.
So many swallowing noises, so close to such an expensive microphone. Good job, Zoe.
Thank you so much.
Is there any fake sponsor that you'd like to include before the second part of the podcast?
Chakras, do you love love? We're going to need $75 an hour in order for you to be told how to love. Starting with episode 1, yourself. In order to love somebody, you need to love yourself first. For $75 an hour, you can learn how to do that.
Thank you, Zoe.
You're welcome.
And that was beautiful. Listen, I think we have our first batch of questions. And we just kind of decided that we were going to do this morning. I mean, been thinking about it for months.
I think that we should only focus on like one thing an episode and really like dive deep into it.
Okay. I think that is a great idea, and we'll get to as many as possible.
But you're not going to do It's fine.
No.
No,
I do think that that's
cool.
a great idea. The more that come in, the more I get excited about talking about.
Okay.
The first one I saw come in general, that I thought was interesting and that we could help with a little bit, or at least share our experiences, was, and these are all anonymous, by the way.
Yeah.
If you want a question on the show, we ain't gonna tell you who they
Nah.
are. So Alex says, no, I'm just kidding. That's not a real name. Jessica Abrams. This one's from Jessica Abrams, 245 Melancholy Street, Trumbull, Connecticut.
Whose actual address is that?
I don't know. I was just trying to make stuff up. That's why I wasn't quick enough to finish it out.
Yeah.
So this question is, was dating easy for you two?
No.
And then they added, it's hard to get out there when I have crippling anxiety. And I'll start this off by saying, I don't think that I've ever had crippling anxiety.
Yeah.
At least in the time when I was doing dating.
Right.
Doesn't mean that it was easy.
Right.
Or always enjoyable. Doesn't mean that there are times when it wasn't very enjoyable.
Right.
I always saw everything in... My single life was very wave related.
Okay.
And there were peaks and valleys
Of course.
of excess. I would be in a, like, let's say in college, I would be in like a relationship. And then that would end. And I would feel very lonely. So down. Picture a graph. Down. Or same graph has a line high for sadness. Sadness at all-time high. Feelings at a down.
Okay. What color are these lines?
One is red. So I'd be down. The line would be up and down. And then I would feel bad about myself. And then I would try to fix that by like going and being hookup guy.
Uh-huh.
Kissing bandit is what my friends used to call me. The makeout bandit. Dude, I'm already sabotaging this before we get any solid information out, and I apologize for that.
No.
And I immediately take it back. So then I would, because I was very attractive, hook up with a lot of people.
Okay.
My friends used to call me the makeout bandit. And I was robbing trains and wearing a scarf on my face way before 2020 when it was cool. And I would do it too much, and then I would either hurt somebody's feelings or make myself, you kind of have that dopamine like drought afterwards.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And I'm trying to do all this meaningless stuff. And when what I really want is a genuine connection with someone. And there were long periods of my life where I didn't have any kind of relationship. So the valleys were like, the graph looked the same, but it was stretched out. And on the way to the low parts, and the low parts are no good. Because it got to the point where even if I would like hook up with someone, like immediately afterwards, I'd be like, I don't even want to do that.
Yeah.
And it just sucks. And I think that's when a lot of self-realization happens.
Right.
And you're like, well, I don't want to feel like this over and over again forever. So I need to figure out what I want so I don't keep putting like scotch tape over the hole in the dam or gum in the hole in the dam. You got to build at some point. You got to fix it and then maintain it from there. But you know, years and years of even going back to like fucking middle school, chasing after people who didn't like me back sucked. And then like feeling invisible sucked. And then having to deal with almost the opposite, where people who have nothing wrong with them like you, but I didn't feel the same attraction back, and then feeling an enormous amount of guilt about that.
Yeah.
So there were times when it was fun, but it was never easy. And I think that I would take, like being with someone and finding, you know, the best fit over the whole, I don't know. There was something very exciting about like the chase, and you go out with different people and you see how compatible you are. But I think once you hit the skid of like, man, I'm not compatible with a lot of these people. Am I compatible with anybody?
Right.
And not really seeing an end in sight of that, or kind of being stuck in your own anxieties is emotionally frustrating and exhausting.
Right. I've never experienced crippling anxiety either, but I think that if you're looking to start dating, I think you need to try to get the anxiety under wraps first. Now, by no means am I a doctor of any sort or a
Why do you have
therapist.
those glasses then?
I just ordered contacts last night. I didn't want to because it was going to be very expensive, but I did order them.
Why?
So I don't always have to wear contact or glasses.
You just look beautiful in glasses.
Thank you so much, but I have some stuff coming up that I don't want to wear glasses for.
You gonna be on a roller coaster?
Anyway,
Answer the question.
back to what I was talking about. I think that it's such a big thing when you're younger and you're single and you've been single, and like we've all been there, right? Like I went through really, really long periods of times of being single, and that was the time that I took to refocus onto myself, right? Where I wanted to get to know myself and date myself for a long time. And I think that's when you figure out what you are really looking for in a relationship, and what are your values, what are your, wants and needs out of a relationship.
And you do it from like a healthier is such a granola way to say it, but you do it from a more informed spot.
Chakra spot.
No, I think when you come up with like your dating checklist without doing any work on yourself, it's just kind of like a Christmas wish list. I want the person that I want to be this and that and this. But when you like focus on yourself and you make your own life good and you date yourself and you're totally happy with yourself, you're like, well, I need this, and that more than like, I don't know, like superficial dumb stuff or stuff that matters a lot less, stuff that's going to contribute a lot less to like the security and strength of the thing that you're going to get into.
Yeah, I think that I think that focusing on you first and maybe not forcing yourself to go out and meet people when you are feeling like this it's not a good idea. I think that if you were to start dating with this crippling anxiety, you're always going to put something on that other person also. You're going to sabotage it before it's even anything.
Yeah. Because that's the kind of, whenever I'm feeling anxious, and again, it's not debilitating, but it is like overthinking of stuff. And when you overthink, you make things in your head different than what they actually are.
Right. You warp these conversations that you've had with these people.
Yeah. Did this mean this?
Yeah.
Why are they not texting me in this amount of time?
Right.
Yada, yada.
Right.
So when you do all this work on yourself, like Zoja was talking about, it gives you a confidence in yourself. Let's call it self-confidence. And then you go out and you put yourself in a position that's maybe a little out of your comfort zone, and people are attracted to that self-confidence because everyone has a bit of
anxiousness and anxiety and all of the things.
But those people find comfort in people who don't or have less or seemingly less.
Right.
So the more you could do to gather the most confidence in yourself, the greater like the signal that you put out is going to be.
Right.
And the more like trustworthy the signal. You know how some companies like like Singular,
the cell phone company,
have spots where it's you'll be in the woods and then you'll have a little R next to your bars and you'll be like, what the fuck is this? Next thing you know, you get the bill, $70. That's not they're not putting out a strong signal. That's why the guy looks like this, so needy. The guy in the logo. But T-Mobile, strong, capital T, mobile. That knows who it is. What is it? It's a mobile phone company.
I fucking hate this.
The mobile company. Strong signal.
Is Singular even around anymore?
I think they were bought by T-Mobile.
Oh, hilarious. Okay.
Combined signals become the ultimate. Singular becomes single. No. Signaled out with Jenny McCarthy.
Pretty good. Feed the chick.
I hope that was helpful.
Yeah. What else you got?
Oh, you want me to do more all of a sudden?
I mean,
Dr.
we
One
don't
Question?
have to. You guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast this week.
Do you want to read some more? Since it's the first, let's do this for practice.
Okay.
We'll answer a couple.
Okay.
For practice.
All right.
And then if you're listening to this fucking episode and you think we're going to get into several questions an episode from here on out, you're fucking
wrong.
Out of your mind.
You're wrong.
Because Zoya will get upset because she doesn't have that much time. This one says, was dating easy for you two?
No, it was not. It's never going to be easy.
It's hard to get out there because I have crippling anxiety.
Dating does suck, though. It's never easy. Dating is not easy for anybody.
No, it's not supposed to be, man. And that's, like, I hear a lot of stand-up jokes about, like, oh, I'm on the apps, and I get it. And if you're single, and that's the time you're living in, and you're on the apps, and teeing this up is making me sound old, but I promise you at the end, it's going to be fine old. At the very least.
He's old. Look at how
I'm
great
also
he is.
fine with getting old. Eat it.
Yeah.
The apps that have been around for, what, 10, 15 years? Maybe a little bit more?
Yes.
Is making a hard thing
harder.
But it's making it harder by making it seemingly very easy. You just have like this fucking Uno hand of real human beings, and you're literally like going like this. You're doing subconsciously what you do when you walk down the street. You see a bunch of people. Imagine walking down the street. And you're seeing all these people. You're like, I would never fuck that guy. I wouldn't fuck that guy. I would fuck that girl. And whatever. Always.
Yeah.
People are flying everywhere. But you're doing it in your mind.
Yeah.
So then you're on these apps, and they're just handing you a bunch of people. And you can't really... It does give you a chance, but and I'm not even saying don't be on them, but I am saying that, like, you know, with apps on our phones and everything is very ease of use. If I want to find out something, I could ask Siri. I didn't, so chill out. And they'll give you an answer. And we're very used to, over the past, like, 25 years, like, we could get whatever we want very easily. But dating and genuine connection is always going to be, no matter how easy everything else is to get, that's always going to be difficult.
Right.
So you can't really fast forward that. You can give yourself a better chance at, I guess, initiating it on an app. But even though everyone's right there and you're literally picking and choosing based on looks or whatever the fuck, it's still going to be difficult. So, you know, try not to get too frustrated because good things are always forged through some kind of difficult journey to them. Write that down.
Also, though, if somebody's like, hey, I want to set you up, and you see a picture of this person, you're like, that's not really my type.
Ugh, teeth.
By all means, go on the fucking date.
Yeah, why not?
Go. Because you never know, because people's personality make them way more attractive than you even give them credit for.
That's true. And in this case, Zoe's not actually talking from personal experience, but she has seen that work for other people in the past.
It actually is from past experience.
A long, long time ago, though, right?
About 12 years ago.
Okay. Okay. All right. And thank you so much for joining us. Here's a nice one. What was the first memory you have of each other that stuck with you in a romantic way but had nothing to do with physical attraction? Which is, again, hard for Zoya because she was so physically attracted to me from the jump, from Jump Street.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember? Do you have a memory of that with me?
So Mike was away for my birthday. And this was in the first year that we started dating. And he felt really, really bad that he wasn't going to be home for my 28th or 29th birthday.
God, 30 years ago.
And
just a joke.
He had his friend go, and I was working that night, and he had his friend go and buy flowers and bring them to work for me. And
shout out Eddie Skoronsky one time.
Yeah. And that was probably the cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
And you weren't even in the same state as me.
Was he dressed like a big newsie?
He was dressed up as Eddie. You know, like how Eddie dressed.
So yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I remember, I don't know if this, because my memory's not always great. And I don't know if this sticks out for me because there is photographic evidence of it. But the photos do make me...
Are you sure that it was a photo with me?
I'd have to take one more look, but I'm almost positive. I was trying to think of someplace we haven't been together. And I was going to be like, there we were on the Great Wall of China. So we were at our friend's tattoo shop, parlor, and art gallery. And
FTS, shout out one time.
Shout out one time, FTS.
Stratford.
Bang, bang, rough, rough.
Stratford, Connecticut.
And there are, I think Tanja sent me a picture of you like sitting on my lap or something like that. So there was that day. I don't remember what I was getting that day. Maybe my neck banger.
Yeah.
That people always see for the first time. And they're like, did you get a neck tattoo? And I'm like, bitch, you're 10 years late.
Yeah.
It's not for you. Feed my own chickens. And then Steve was taking pictures. My friend Steve Walter, amazing photographer, at the gallery. And that was the first time we were like in pictures together.
Yeah.
And it's just very apparent how I have this memory and this feeling of like loving being close to you around everybody else and not being single. Because there's this thing when you're single that you don't want to like, or you should have this, you don't want to be like super snuggly or affectionate with the other person because you don't want to give them the wrong idea about how much you're in it. That's how I used to think about it. And I don't know if that was just the me thing or whatever, but I'm not going to hang all over you in public if we're not like
we still
together.
don't do that.
I'm not going to, but I was like, I'm not going to let my friends see us all over each other in public.
Right.
If you're not going to be around.
Right.
In my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's unfair for everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, what if you're seeing that? Because like, tell me somebody, male or female or otherwise, who wouldn't be like, wow, he's really like snuggling up on me in front of all of his friends.
Right.
There's no way I'm not going to be here in a week.
We're fucking in. This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think that if I really like the person.
Guys, take note of that. Don't be that douche.
Which one?
The snuggly guy who's only going to get rid of the person.
Oh, yeah. Don't do that.
Guys and gals.
Yes.
Whatever you are.
Yes. That covers everybody.
Yeah.
Even if you're old and gross. So that is my memory, is being in those pictures with you and like having your hair in my mouth and like making you laugh for pictures and being cute with you in front of everybody.
That was fun. That was a fun night.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good, like, fresh dating memory.
Yeah.
Whenever those pictures start to like resurface at times, I'm always like, oh.
Yeah.
I was so fit then too.
Weren't we both? I was wearing hoodies that are so small that they're just a memory now.
Yeah.
We'll do one more.
Sure.
Okay. When you have an issue.
Issue?
You meaning me and you. How do you bring it up and make space to discuss? We just did this yesterday.
Yeah.
We had a very mature discussion yesterday.
Yeah.
And you said at one point, like, I'm going to say something, I don't want it to be a fight.
Yeah.
And then it never was.
No. Mike had asked me if he listens to me.
Yes.
And I said, what do you mean by that?
And you said, what? And I said, I said, do I listen to you? He said, huh? Ha ha ha. Little joke.
Not funny.
Okay.
And he was like, you know, do I listen to you? And I'm like, well, sometimes when we're together, like just sitting on the couch and watching TV and whatever, I'll say something and you are so enthralled in whatever it is that you're doing that you just totally don't hear me. But I'm sure that I do that also. Or I'll catch just the end of it and I'm like, huh? And you're always like, never mind, you know? Right?
You lost your chance to listen.
And then there's times where I'll say something like, hey, we should go look for a suit for you, you know? And you're like, I already have a suit. And I'm like, okay, that's not what I was saying. Because I think that guys should have more than one suit. That's just me, you know? And because I think so doesn't necessarily mean that you think so.
Yeah.
And I'm also not going to sit there and start an argument over a fucking suit, you know? So there's certain things. So this was the conversation yesterday, basically. And then you were like, instead of just saying what it is that you mean, it's like up to me to decipher what you are thinking. And it's not so much, it's not that I don't want you to have the extra suit, right? Because it's not something that is dire. It's not like you need a suit. You have a suit here. But for me, I think that you should have the extra suit so that you also have options. And sometimes things are fancier than others. So you have like a very casual, easygoing, wear to just a guest at a wedding suit. But then you also have something that is a suit for something that's a little bit more officiating a wedding, you know?
Sure. I should have gotten the collar from the officiating kit is what you're saying.
Is that what they have? Do they have that?
They had a collar.
Oh my God.
I felt like...
Let's get you a priest suit.
You already told me I couldn't wear a belt that said priest.
Well, you could get like the garb.
No. And here was my thing. Mm-hmm. Is that you said, I don't like having a whole conversation and the whole time I'm trying to figure out what you really meant by the original question. Mm-hmm. I like when people are very direct. Mm-hmm. And then I think that there's an extra layer that gets me upset when you're not direct, because my idea of you that lives in my head and my heart is that you're no bullshit, very direct. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, because of energy or not wanting to start a certain type of conversation, you'll say it in a different way that I already know, because I know you so well, that you don't mean. The same way you know me so well when I'm not doing exactly whatever.
Right.
And that gets me furious.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, all I'm thinking is, I really don't want to go get fitted for a new suit today, especially when I spent, in my mind, too much money on the last one. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I have a too much money suit already. Mm-hmm. I didn't wake up thinking I was going to go get a suit. And now you're saying we should go get you a suit today, kind of like you don't even have one to begin with.
Yeah, no.
Was the tone.
Okay.
Instead of being like, I know you have that other suit, but we should get you a new one to officiate the wedding.
Right.
Even that change of whatever, and what the conversation was about, I'm just giving you context and color. Yeah. But to the point of the question is like, sometimes it takes a long time to know somebody well enough to even have that kind of an approach to a conversation. Right. And that takes work. And you got to know a lot about yourself and your strengths and weaknesses in conversation and in life in general. Right. And you got to have a good, fair understanding of the other person. And then in order for that to not be a fight, because a fight is just like wires not touching at the right points in that interaction. So if you do the work to figure yourself out and figure as much of your partner out as possible, you could fight without the sparks happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, my analogies are on a different level right now. I said the thing with the dam. And then I said the thing about the wires and sparks. And I'm just kind of feeling like I did a great job.
You did do a great job.
And you also did a great job, Zoe.
Thank you.
Because we're doing it together.
Wait, keep the music on.
Okay. What are we doing now? Anyway, if you want to submit your anonymous questions to this podcast, we have an IG that you could DM at welcome_to_the hour. Shouldn't be making that mistake after 15 years. _podcast. It's also a Twitter at welcomepod that I see sometimes. And then we have an email.
Welcome to the podcast,
Which I believe is welcome to the podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah. But also, as you know, patreon.com. There's also places where you can message us there. Patreon.com is a virtual tipping and rewards website where you give us a little bit of your hard-earned cash, and some of the tiers get a shout out, and that goes a little something like this. Matthew Carey, Shannon, DLD, Patrick Simpson, Ernesto, Raja, Eliseus, Joe Tarzan, Lewis and Odette, congratulations again. Lauren Chauncey, Paul Gilliam, Steve Diergo, Chris McCarthy, Trevor the Werefishy, Joe Penn, Happy birthday, Starlight. JJ McToots, Rachel last name. Mike Genie, Alan Garcia, Connie Tryon, Isabella Sparkles, Antero Baez, Frankie Matos Music. In our short years, we've come a long way. There you go. Chris Fernandez, Johnny Rosito, Handcrafted Neckwear. They're due soon. They've got a baby on the way.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I was talking to him the other day.
Yeah.
Hi, John.
CCPB and J, Admammed, Emily Paget. She actually got front row parking the other night.
Congratulations, Emily Paget, on your front row parking to the Hollywood.
No, at her house. Because
She
it
got
was
front row
late.
parking to her house?
Yeah. Caleb Perkins. Giant Tom Hanks, Lizzie Love. Gavin Welsh, Crossed Up. Someone Tell Aaron. Emily Buck, Jackie Hammond. Paige Junesen. Guy with Long Hair, Chris Johnson. Happy Birthday, Chris. Anna Valles. Benjamin Putz, Beth Bush, Snugglepig H, Ryan Ashbrook, Christina Camille, whose son gave her a black eye yesterday at...
The Ren Fair?
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of it. Josh Jenston.
Do I ever listen to you, she says.
Michael Johnson, Kayla Johnston, Jules Run, Grant Levasseur, Chad Clark, Joe Finney, Heather Ashley, What is Cat, Katie Taylor, Shane Welsh, Evan Canoe, Joe Ban, Milky Beans, Jess Enright, Lillian Carrillo, Magnus Silva, Barrington Lloyd Lovett, Benjamin Fuchs, Theodorus Karen Bellis, One Bum Man, Janisha Tutton, Danny Sinclair, Jacob D. Bradford, Justine Beebestein, Just Josh, Sergeant Sparty, Ed Birch, Helen Ford, Luminos, Superfloss, Tatiana Clay, Danielle D. Verona, Sean Stone, Valerie York, Dev, Jesse Stillwell, Katie Lee Jeeds, Rob Devereaux, Don Go Chasing Waterfalls, Nestor De Leon III, Luis Hernandez, Alexander Legowski, Monique Quistorf, Jamie Garner, Troy R., Cody Ostalas, Felicia Shimberry, and Matthew J. Palka. You guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope this kind of goes the way we want it to, and you guys enjoy it the way we do.
Yeah. The idea is that you still get a little bit of us, but also...
a little bit of something else.
We have something.
Yeah.
We have some kind of knowledge about something because what we have, I think, is special. So we can share a little bit of ourselves to maybe... And what was that? Are you in Severance? Share a little bit of ourselves to maybe help somebody else. If you see a clip of this show and you think it might help somebody else, send it to someone and say, I watched this and I thought of you. And then they might say, stop contacting me, or you nailed it.
Yeah.
But nothing in between. And bunch of fun shows coming up. We're doing a surrounded show in Connecticut on the 25th of this month. Man, it's coming up.
Yeah.
Doing a surrounded show in New York
On the 27th.
City on the 27th. At the Stand. There are tickets for both of those on MikeFalzone.com, Squarespace website.
Great. You guys, thank you so much for listening, and we love you. Bye.
Ow.